Some of you peaked in a version of yourself that nobody even remembers. And it's the reason why a lot of you feel stuck the way you are right now. Now, it's crazy because I've seen it happen to so many people. There's a stereotype that a lot of people peak in high school. And for the most part, it can be true. I've seen it happen to a lot of people around me. You have the one guy who's cool for the guys, who's getting all the girls, he's the popular guy in school. Or you have this group of guys, I should say, in fact, who are the popular guys in school. And then over time, they start to fade. You start seeing less and less things about them. You start hearing less and less things about them. Even the girls at 17 or 18 who maybe got all the attention from the guys and then built their identity off the back of that. Over time, that starts to fade and you stop hearing things about them. And the thing is, right, when you have all that attention at the time, especially being so young, it can be easy to be clouded by all of it and think that this is the best that life can be. Because as far as social scoring goes, you're at the top of the food chain. You're getting all the attention. You're winning all the popularity contests. Not many people disagree with you when it comes to you having strong opinions and the whole lot. And people just have a basic level of respect for you. Sometimes that respect even goes further than just being basic. In other words, everything just looks good for you. Everything feels like it's going well. And for those of you who maybe haven't surrounded yourself with popular groups in high school, from the outside looking in, it can feel like these guys have everything all figured out. But for the most part, they don't. They don't. There's a subconscious mindset of this is the best that life can be, right? So after this experience, after this point of their lives, of course, there's a inevitable decline. And there's very few people who get out of this decline. Because you've told yourself and you spent so many years convincing yourself this is the absolute best life could be, there's a steady decline. Whether you want to realize that or not, you find yourself trying to recreate your older experiences, trying to replicate the same validation, the same attention that you once had. And the reason why I can come across as so knowledgeable about this is because I've caught myself doing it too. When I was around 17 or 18, I transferred to another school, right? And, you go to school, typically for education. Girls are just an added in bonus. Whether you find a girl attractive or not, you don't really know. So obviously I'm progressing through the years. I think I'd spent a year there. In my second year, I found a girl that I thought to be pretty attractive, right? So shot my shot. We started speaking a whole lot more, meeting up on our breaks and stuff, and things actually, progressed. And for the most part, right, I didn't have a decent amount of money. I wasn't the best looking guy in school. I had pretty good conversation and I had a pretty good voice, so I think that got me through the door, to be honest. But I'd say I had both of those things, and my characteristic, or I should say my charisma, also got me a few brownie points. So I had those strengths to play on. But the point is, I didn't have a lot of money. In comparison to the guys who I was looking at back then, a lot of people were driving cars, or I should say some people, and typically the guys who were driving, they got first pick. So me getting in ahead of them was something that I never really thought would happen. And for the most part, I thought this would happen anyway because it's happened once already. So I was like, if it happened once, it can happen a second time. And it did. And things were working out until they didn't. But for the time that I did spend with her, I realized that I placed far too much value on that situation. Just because I wasn't in the best of situations, I'd subconsciously decided to myself that that was a peak moment in my life, even though it wasn't, because there was much better still to come. And I'm sure I can spend a lot of time speaking about the quote-unquote better to come, but I won't speak about my girl experience too much. I'll leave that for another video. But anyway, I spent so much time trying to recreate that moment because I decided that it was a peak moment. I was in the position that I was in, and I still managed to do well for myself in terms of dating, right? So I decided to myself, I'm going to waste a lot of time and a lot of energy trying to replicate whatever I had. Same type of girl, same type of feelings, same type of moments. And for the most part, it just sounds silly when I say this back to myself, but you know, a lot of people, they make these mistakes, especially when you're young. And maybe some of you can relate to the dating scenario and example that I gave, but it doesn't just apply to that. It can apply to sports, it can apply to friendships, and it can apply to moments of your life where things just felt exciting. You will end up romanticizing what happened back then that you don't even take time to appreciate what's happening right now. And for the most part, it's a trap that people will set up and they don't even realize that they're walking into. And having said that, as somebody who's very active in their thinking, I can understand your method of thinking because I'm also a overthinker. Hear me when I say this, okay? You're the only person who's carrying the weight of your reputation. It's only happening in your mind. Nobody remembers that version of yourself in detail like you do. Nobody. Now, I'm a very strong advocate for being a legend in your own mind, but a lot of you are not living legends. You're worshipping dead legends, dead versions of yourself, in your mind. For what reason? Why? When you do something like that, you allow yourself to be stuck in the past, and you will keep on reliving the past. And that does you a whole lot more harm than it does good, even if you don't realize it yet. The audience throughout most of your peak moments was just yourself. The sooner you realize that, the better. It's why I hate the saying, life can't get any better than this. That's such a shit mentality to adopt. It's so dangerous. It really is. Because what you're saying is, imagine two versions of yourself, right? So you have a version of yourself that's forever evolving, adopting the Kaizen philosophy of getting 1% better each and every day. And then you have you, who has the mentality of life can't get better than this. You pretty much put a limiter on yourself. So you have two versions. You could have been this, forever growing, forever evolving, but you decided to be this. Because you decided that life has a ceiling. No matter who you are, you're the master of your own fate, and if you adopt this train of thought, you really won't get far. The way you speak to yourself is so important, it really is. It can really be the difference maker. I think this video was just a reminder to me to stop worshipping old moments, stop worshipping old versions of myself. Moments where I thought life was peak, because it's very easy to do that when you're on what you think to be a decline, right? You can always worship the good old times and think to yourself that life was so much better back then. It's very easy to adopt that method of thinking, but once again, it's not logical thinking. It doesn't do you a whole world of good. Even though life has its highs and lows, I think just enjoy it in the moments as it is. Because things can change very quickly, both good and bad. And whilst it's okay to reminisce about the past, romanticizing will never do you a whole world of good. I just think if you spend all of your time and energy trying to chase old highs, then you'll miss the opportunities to create new ones. So it's either you move on and you grow, or you replay the same memories over and over and over again, trying to feel something. I think that's today's message. I think that's a pretty solid message. But yeah, guys, I'll wrap up the video here. If you did enjoy it, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Share it to a friend or family member who you think may need to see and hear this message. And if you guys want to join a community full of like-minded people, I'd love to have you in the Kaizen community. I'll leave a link down below in the description, as well as the comment section. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care and God bless.